You've been fighting toxic people wrong your entire life. Every argument, every explanation, every time you tried to make them understand, you gave them exactly what they wanted, your reaction. But there's something they fear more than your anger, more than your tears, more than your words, your silence. And once you understand the psychology behind why silence terrifies them, you'll never give them your energy again. And once you understand what silence does to a toxic person's brain, you'll see why it works better than any argument ever could. But first, let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah spent 3 years trying to make her narcissistic boss understand her worth. 3 years of explanations, 3 years of defending her work, 3 years of emotional exhaustion. Then one day, she tried something different. When he criticized her project in front of the entire team, she didn't defend herself. She didn't explain. She didn't react. She looked at him, said nothing, and let the silence stretch until the entire room felt uncomfortable. Then she gathered her papers and walked out. Within 2 weeks, he stopped targeting her. Within a month, he was actually praising her work. Within 3 months, she got the promotion he'd been blocking for years. What changed? She stopped feeding the beast. Here's what happens in their brain when you go silent, and why it breaks their control over you completely. Number one, silence starves their nervous system. Toxic people are emotional vampires. Their nervous system literally feeds off your reaction. When you argue, you're giving them dopamine. When you cry, you're giving them power. When you explain yourself, you're giving them control. But silence? Silence is starvation. Here's the neuroscience behind this. Their brain releases dopamine every time you react. It's the same chemical pathway as addiction. They're literally addicted to your emotional responses. But when you go silent, their brain goes into panic mode. Why aren't they reacting? What are they thinking? Are they planning something? This triggers what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement anxiety. It's the same psychological principle that makes gambling addictive. When the reward becomes unpredictable, the brain becomes obsessed with getting it back. You become unpredictable, and unpredictable people cannot be controlled. Here's exactly what you do instead of arguing. Look at them. Say nothing. Let the silence stretch until it becomes uncomfortable. Count to 10 in your head. Watch their face change. Watch them squirm. Then walk away. No explanation. No justification. No words. Just the sound of your footsteps leaving. That silence will haunt them more than any comeback ever could. But here's what most people don't realize. The first time you do this, they'll be shocked. The second time, they'll be confused. The third time, they'll start to panic because you've just broken their programming. But what if you can't walk away? What if it's family? What if you're trapped? Number two, the gray rock method for when escape isn't possible. Sometimes you can't leave. Toxic parents, shared custody, financial dependence. You're stuck with someone who feeds off your emotional reactions. Here's the psychological warfare they don't see coming. Become boring, become predictable, become uninteresting. But here's the advanced version most people don't know. When they try to provoke you, give them nothing to work with. How was your day? Fine. You never talk to me anymore. Okay. You're being ridiculous. But watch their body language while you do this. You'll see their voice get louder, trying to provoke a reaction. You'll see their gestures become more dramatic, like a performer losing their audience. This is called narcissistic supply depletion. Short answers, flat tone, zero emotional investment. You're not being rude, you're being strategic. Here's a real example. My client Mark had a toxic mother who would call him every day to dump her problems on him. Every conversation ended with him feeling drained and guilty. I taught him the gray rock method. Mom, I can't talk long today. Why not? You never have time for me. I have to go. You're being selfish. Okay, talk to you later. Within 2 months, her calls went from daily to weekly. Within 6 months, she found a new target for her drama. Toxic people need drama, like fire needs oxygen. Remove the oxygen, the fire dies. Your nervous system stays calm. Your energy stays protected. Your peace stays intact. They'll eventually get bored and find someone else to torment. But here's the mistake that ruins everything. And here's where most people mess this up. They think silence means weakness. Number three, silence is not submission, it's superiority. Society taught you that speaking up means strength, that defending yourself proves your worth. That's manipulation. Here's what they don't want you to know. Real strength is knowing when your words have power and when they don't. Toxic people twist everything you say. They use your explanations against you. They turn your defenses into attacks. But they can't twist silence. Think about the most powerful people you know. They don't explain themselves to everyone. They don't defend every decision. They don't react to every provocation. They choose their battles, they protect their energy, they value their peace. This is called selective engagement. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop giving them ammunition. When you stop defending your choices, you stop validating their right to judge them. When you stop reacting to their provocations, you stop playing their game entirely. Here's a power move that changes everything. The next time someone demands an explanation for your boundaries, try this. I don't need to explain my decisions to you. Say it once, then go silent. Watch them scramble to regain control. This isn't about being passive. This is about being powerful. You're not hiding. You're choosing. You're not weak. You're wise. You're not giving up. You're leveling up. And here's the psychological principle behind why this works so well. Number four, the psychological breakdown they experience. Here's what toxic people can't handle about your silence. It forces them to sit with themselves. No distraction, no drama, no emotional chaos to hide behind. Just them and their thoughts, and the uncomfortable truth about who they really are. Most toxic people are running from their own pain. They create chaos in your life to avoid the chaos in their head. Your reactions give them somewhere to put their discomfort. But when you go silent, that discomfort has nowhere to go except back to them. This is called psychological projection reversal. Instead of projecting their pain onto you, they're forced to face it themselves. They start questioning themselves. Why aren't they fighting back? What did I do wrong? Are they planning to leave me? Your silence becomes a mirror, and they hate what they see. Here's what happens in their brain during this process. First, confusion. This isn't how the script usually goes. Then, anxiety. Why aren't they reacting? Then, panic. Are they done with me? Finally, desperation. I need to get them back under my control. This is why they'll escalate at first. They'll get louder, more dramatic, more desperate. They're trying to pull you back into the game. Don't take the bait. But here's the part that gets dangerous. Number 5, when silence triggers their rage. Some toxic people will escalate when you stop reacting. They'll get angrier, more manipulative, more dangerous. This is called an extinction burst, like a broken vending machine that you stop feeding coins to. It might shake and make noise before it finally shuts down. Here's the psychology behind the extinction burst. When a behavior that used to get results suddenly stops working, the brain's first response is to try harder, much harder. They might love bomb you with fake apologies, threaten to hurt themselves, spread lies about you to others, show up at your workplace, use flying monkeys to get information. Here's how you protect yourself. Document everything, screenshots, voice recordings, witnesses, have an exit strategy. Know where you can go, who you can call, what resources you have. Use these power phrases on "I'm not available for that. That doesn't work for me. We're not discussing this. Thanks for showing your true colors." Say them once, then return to silent. Here's a crucial point. If they threaten you, that's not about your silent. That's about their character. And it's information you needed to have. Your silence didn't create their toxicity, it revealed it. But here's the breakthrough moment that changes everything. Number 6, you were fighting for their respect. Stop. All those arguments, all those explanations, all those times you tried to make them understand. You weren't trying to win, you were trying to earn their respect. But here's the truth that will set you free. You don't need toxic people to respect you. You need to respect yourself enough to stop begging for theirs. Here's what I realized after years of studying toxic relationships. Their opinion of you is not your reality. Their treatment of you is not your worth. Their chaos is not your responsibility. When you stop fighting for their respect and start protecting your peace, everything changes. You stop explaining your boundaries and start enforcing them. You stop justifying your choices and start making them confidently. You stop seeking their approval and start trusting your own judgment. This is when your silence becomes truly powerful. Because it's not about them anymore. It's about you choosing yourself. Here's a visualization that helps my clients. Imagine your energy as a precious resource. Every reaction you give away is like handing them a piece of your soul. Your silence is you saying, "This is mine, you can't have it." And here's what happens when you finally master this level of self-respect. Number 7, the life you build in the silence. While toxic people are busy creating drama, you're busy creating a life. While they're stuck in the same patterns, you're growing. While they're demanding attention, you're building something beautiful. While they're trying to control others, you're mastering yourself. Your silence isn't just protection from them. It's space for you. Space to think clearly, space to feel deeply, space to choose wisely, space to become who you're meant to be. Here's what my clients report after mastering this. I sleep better at night. I have energy for the people who matter. I stopped walking on eggshells in my own life. I attracted healthier relationships. I finally feel like myself again. The people who deserve your words will earn them. The people who deserve your energy will respect it. The people who deserve your presence will value it. Everyone else gets your silence, and that silence, it's not empty. It's full of self-respect, full of boundaries, full of power. It's the sound of you choosing yourself over their chaos. It's the sound of you winning. Here's your new operating system. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You are not required to explain your boundaries. You are not obligated to engage with toxicity. Your silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Your peace is not selfish, it's sacred. Your choice to walk away is not giving up, it's growing up. You're done babysitting adult children. You're done being anyone's emotional punching bag. You're done sacrificing your peace for their comfort. But here's what happens next that most people aren't prepared for. Once you master the power of silence, toxic people will try to hoover you back in. They'll use every manipulation tactic in the book. If this resonated with you, you need to watch my next video about what to do when toxic people try to hoover you back in after you've gone silent. Because they will try. And you need to be ready. Hit subscribe if you're ready to choose yourself over their chaos. Your future self is waiting. And remember, your silence isn't the absence of power. It's the presence of it.